becoming more and more popular among teenagers here in Colorado. The more young people are tapping into the craze, and they're vaping more than they're smoking. Now, many parents may not even understand the dangers that vaping poses to teenagers, or even how to have that discussion and talk to their teens about it. So we're going to bring the experts in. Joining us in studio this morning is Gabriel Kaplan. He's with the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. Good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning, Megan. Thanks for having me.
So the vaping pens, the e-cigarettes that have hit the market, they come in candy and fruit flavors, maybe luring these teenagers in. And this preliminary research that's out, it's pretty concerning.
Yeah, they come in all kinds of flavors. A lot of the flavors are marketed really directly towards the youth. I'm holding in my hand a bubblegum flavor right now. It has a pretty strong odor of bubblegum. It comes in raspberry, strawberry, other flavors that are meant to appeal to youth.
So for all the parents at home that maybe they are suspecting their teenagers, you know, they're off this summer, they're bored, they have nothing to do. How do you talk to your kids about this?
Well, we have a campaign we're just starting called Enough with a Puff. It's part of our regular tobacco campaign that's marketed to kids, and we're now adding this e-cigarette vaping message to kids and to parents and to really everyone. To say a few things. The first is that we really don't know how these things are made. Only the manufacturer knows is what's going into these liquids. Right now it's entirely unregulated. The FDA has made some moves to move into this space and start regulating and controlling the manufacture of these products so we know what's going in. But right now that's held up in court, so until that happens, we don't really know what these products contain. What we do know they contain is nicotine. And one thing to stress with your kid is that nicotine is addictive. It's highly addictive. It's as addictive as heroin. And
wow.
Starting it now, at this point in your life, can harm your brain. It can harm your developmental functions, memory, attention, pretty important functions that you're going to need throughout your life. And it also has, evidence shows us that it's really proving to be a potential gateway to smoking.
That was going to be my next question. A lot of people, maybe there's a misconception out there that vaping and these e-cigarettes are a safer alternative to smoking, but your research shows that the vaping actually leads more teenagers to smoke cigarettes. That's
what we're seeing right now, and it's really concerning. I know there was a lot of hype and promise that attended these products when they first came out. But right now, the gateway, the direction of causality runs in the opposite direction. It's running from kids taking up vaping and then picking up smoking down the road. In Colorado,
a state where marijuana is legal, a lot of people are getting their hands on cannabis oil and smoking pot through these vapor pens.
Yeah, there's a number of products that you can manufacture and put into this canister to vape and inhale, and marijuana is one of those.
Do you have kids?
I do.
You do. So how do you have that conversation with teenagers, especially at an age where they're susceptible to peer pressure? How do you sit down with them and talk to them in plain language about the dangers of this?
Well, I always found honesty is the best policy. My kids are pretty trusting of me, and I think I earn that trust by being straightforward with them. And we just talk about the dangers, and we talk about making decisions now that have lifelong implications, and how to be very careful about that, and how it's important to wait until maybe you're a little older, until your brain's sort of a little more well-developed, to make those kinds of decisions.
How long do you think it'll take before we really get a better idea of how dangerous this is?
It's hard to say. I think the FDA deeming rule will add some control to the market, and so we'll be able to say with certainty what's in these products and what's not in these products. That'll add some measure of comfort to us. And then we'll be able to sort of focus on the ultimate harms. Obviously, we're going to need longitudinal studies to see how the long-term effects of these products' use impacts people. We think that they're less harmful than smoking tobacco, than combustion, but we don't really know how it compares. And it's that central message, which I think is really the governing thing, is caution is really the order of the day.
And last question before we go. It's all tied up in the courts with the FDA. What's next when it comes to this?
Well, the FDA is hoping to be able to move forward in August, and once they do, they will start reviewing these products, start instituting regulations to affect the manufacture of them. And hopefully that'll control some of the inputs.
All right, thanks so much for being with us. Some great advice and tips on how to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping. Let's get on over back to the news desk with Ken with more news.
All right, Megan, thank you. It's now 8:20.